Now at 10 and streaming on CrossroadsToday.com, a Hallettsville man won a state pardon and parole for a weapon violation. The man accused of shooting a black teenager in Kansas City charged with first-degree assault. And Representative George Santos announces his 2024 re-election campaign for his New York congressional seat.
Well, good evening, everybody. Our temperature right now about 63 degrees. It's about where it's going to stay. Tomorrow we'll be in the 80s, and it's going to get warm and windy for the next couple of days. I'll have your forecast coming up.
And the highest paid player in NFL history is filthy rich, and the Cowboys are very familiar with him. Coming up in sports.
You're watching 25 News Now at 10. Good evening and thank you for joining us for 25 News Now at 10. I'm Don Brubaker. Karina Garcia has the night off. 5 fire departments busy with a fire at Alamo Beach. The Port Lavaca Wave reports the grass fire claimed 5 acres of land Monday afternoon. The blaze threatened 2 buildings in Alamo Beach, but was contained and extinguished before any damage could be done to the structures. No word on what caused the fire. A 29-year-old Hallettsville man accused of being a felon in possession of a weapon. Authorities say Brandon Dearson has ties to Hallettsville and Victoria. If you can help, call Hallettsville Police or Lavaca County Crime Stoppers. If your tip leads to an arrest, you could earn a cash reward. Victoria Mayor Jeff Bouknight released a proclamation to denounce anti-Semitism in the city. We spoke with a local representative for the Jewish community, Dr. Gary Branfman. He showed the Temple B'nai Israel and the actual burial site of the first Jewish man in Victoria. Dr. Branfman says the decision to stand against anti-Semitism is bigger than just the Jewish community.
Accepts the fact it's not a problem only for Jews. It's a problem for everybody. Any racism, bigotry against any group is a target against people, not against that group. Doesn't matter if it's anti-Semitism, anti-black, anti-gay, it's racism.
After battling with his own situations of presidents, Dr. Branfman sees a bright future for Victoria. The proclamation is only the first step. Also, the Jewish community recognizes Yom HaShoah, Holocaust Memorial Day. And Mayor Bouknight declared April 17th and 18th as Victoria Congregation B'nai Israel Days. You have another chance to learn more about Victoria College's May 6th bond election. Voters will decide a $10 million bond issue to help with a $36.5 million project for a student success center. Victoria College already has $26.5 million in grants, gifts, and institutional funds for the project. The college is hosting its second bond informational session tomorrow at the VC Campus Student Center, 2200 East Red River Street. Early voting starts April 24th and runs through May 2nd. Here's your viewer poll this evening. Scan that QR code on your screen to vote now. Here's the question. Do you plan to attend the Victoria College Bond Issue Informational Session Tuesday? Yes, no, or maybe. Let's look at the numbers. 5% say yes, 89% say no, and 6% say maybe. We thank you for voting. We want to hear from you. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part. The Bloomington ISD superintendent announcing his retirement today. Mark Anglin has led the Bloomington ISD for 4 years. In a Facebook statement, Anglin says it was a difficult decision to retire from the best job he ever had. Anglin says his retirement from Bloomington ISD is the best decision for his family. And let's take a first look at your forecast with First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Mac Perez. And Mac was telling me earlier, kind of explaining a problem that some of us are having, maybe a lot of you out there, with sinuses over the last 24 to 36. Is it because of the cooler weather, the wind coming in, Mac?
Well, think about it. We had a big rain. We had some sunny weather, the pollen bloomed, then we had a north wind blow it all down. So if you're, sniffling and sneezing and got a red nose right now, you may be a victim of cedar fever. Achoo. Folks, we got up to 78 degrees today. It was right on target for the forecast high. Normally it was about 78, so it's good to be normal. 51 was the overnight low. That was nice, but only 60, maybe 63 tonight because the Gulf moisture is rolling back in, and that is going to set the stage for a couple of little showers around here. We'll have more on that coming up in a moment. Don?
Mac, thank you. The South Texas Strutters seniors took to the floor for one of their last practices. Parents showed up after the workout with cake and gifts. They had fun at the party. And the Strutters are looking forward to Worlds in Orlando next week, but they consider it to be a business trip. The Strutters have run into some bad luck the last few years right before competition time, but this year looks to be different.
We feel like we have no injuries. We are all ready. Our dances look 10 times better than they have the previous years. So I think if we placed high this year, we would feel very honored and like our hard work finally paid off.
The tiny, mini, and youth teams will have their last practices next Monday. A special grand jury votes against indicting 8 police officers from Akron, Ohio, involved in the deadly shooting of Jayland Walker. Police tried to pull Walker over for a traffic violation, but he took off, and police then chased him. Officers fired nearly 100 shots at Walker, but an autopsy shows he had 46 gunshot wounds to his body. Walker was not armed when police shot him, but officers thought Walker fired on them first before they shot back.
The grand jury concluded that the officers were legally justified in their use of force. The grand jury just a little while ago issued what is called a no bill, meaning that there will be no state criminal action, no charges at the state level. That does not resolve any potential civil action that might be brought for wrongful death.
The grand jury made its decision after spending a week reviewing evidence in the case. 16-year-old Ralph Yarl released from the hospital after he was shot when he mistakenly went to the wrong home in Kansas City to pick up his siblings. The reported shooter, an 85-year-old white man, charged with first-degree assault. A prosecutor said Monday there was a racial component to the case.
Hundreds of protesters taking to the streets in Kansas City, Missouri, demanding justice. Justice for Ralph! The outrage comes after police say 16-year-old Ralph Yarl was shot by a homeowner after mistakenly going to the wrong home. Police say the high school junior's parents asked him to pick up his siblings at an address on 115th Terrace, but he accidentally went to a home on 115th Street, where, according to his family, he was shot in the head through a glass door after he rang the doorbell. Yarl now in stable condition, his aunt hopeful for a full recovery.
Ralph will feel a lot of love because this is a lot of people. It's amazing.
The shooter, whose identity has not been made public, was taken into custody, then released pending further investigation.
You do have a police department that is listening, that cares, and we take all of these cases seriously.
The mayor of Kansas City saying there will be a thorough review of the incident to determine if any charges will be filed. The community searching for answers and calling for an arrest.
The information that we have now, it does not say that it's racially motivated. That's still an active investigation. But as a chief of police, I do recognize the racial components of this case. I do recognize and understand the community's concern.
In a statement, the family's legal team saying the family is demanding swift action from the Clay County prosecutors and law enforcement to identify, arrest, and prosecute to the full extent of the law the man responsible for this horrendous and unjustifiable shooting. The teenager's family is expected to hold a press conference Tuesday. Meantime, police say they plan to get a formal statement from Yarl once his condition improves and he's able to speak with law enforcement. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
South Carolina state health leaders begin their annual beach monitoring season on May 1st. The collection of water samples happens at more than 120 locations along South Carolina beaches, spaced out by approximately 1 mile. Now, the authorities there in South Carolina look particularly for one type of bacteria which can indicate contamination from fecal waste. While it's not harmful, if samples contain a higher than normal level of this bacteria, the state of South Carolina may issue a swimming advisory.
Whenever a swimming advisory is issued, beaches aren't closed during this time. But we just want you to be mindful of, if you are swimming, that to try to make that educated decision.
Those advisories are always temporary. U.S. Representative George Santos seeking re-election in 2024. The embattled GOP congressman announcing his candidacy for New York's 3rd congressional district today. Santos has admitted to lying extensively about his resume, education, and family background. He also faces federal and local investigations into his finances. Senior Washington Republicans have said they will not let Santos be the nominee for his seat. Still, he maintains he has no intention of stepping down early. This Thursday, April 20th at 6 and 10, catch a 25 News Now Extra with Adam Seibel. We joined ABC News for their extended coverage this week on Earth Day with Climate Crisis, the Power of Water. We'll hear from farmers in Matagorda County and learn more about the impact the Texas-Colorado River and recent droughts have on their crops. That's this Thursday, April 20th on 25 News Now at 6 and 10. Stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 10, a 3-year-old girl in the hospital after surviving a fall from a 6th-floor window in a Manhattan apartment complex. Also ahead, police in rural Alabama asking for help in identifying the shooter in a fatal Sweet 16 mass shooting.
Counterfeit prescription pills laced with fentanyl are killing our kids by the thousands across the nation. The pills look safe. Can you tell which one is real? Drug dealers are pushing these deadly pills on your kids' social media. It only takes one pill to kill. And it did. You can help stop the fentanyl epidemic. Talk to your kids about the dangers of counterfeit prescription pills. Visit onepillkilled.org.
In Texas, the future belongs to everyone, so we created the truck of the future for everyone. Ford F-150, part of America's best-selling trucks for 46 straight years. With an available 12-inch touchscreen and interior work surface, it puts the world at your fingertips. And now, there's a great in-stock selection to choose from at your best in Texas Ford dealer. Drive F-150 now with 0% financing plus $1,000 cash plus up to $1,000 accessories cash plus complimentary maintenance.
Ford is the best in Texas.
The Sweetheart Boutique invites you to the historic Square in Goliad for a unique shopping experience. Ladies' linen clothing, a candy shop, children's toys and apparel. Nestled in the Goliad Historic Square is a candy shop that can turn back time with candies and sodas from your childhood. And boy, are they a haven for the children. Infant, toddler, and kids' clothing, swimsuits, family matching outfits, and more. Just a short drive to Goliad. Come visit the Sweetheart Boutique, serving the Crossroads area for over 15 years.
Hi folks, Greg at Full of Pep. A longtime customer talked to me the other day and told me they switched to a horse feed from another company because it was cheaper than ours. Before long, the shape of his horses deteriorated and one ended up at the vet. Our equine feeds are formulated to keep your horses in the best condition and maintain peak performance at any life stage. We're not the cheapest, but we sell a superior quality product at a fair price. And in my opinion, that's value. Come see us at Full of Pep.
A shooting in Biloxi, Mississippi, leaving multiple people hurt, including a police officer, Sunday evening. Biloxi police receiving a call about a shooting near a Motel 6 around 5:30. While heading towards the scene, they heard several gunshots fired near a surf shop. One officer was shot after several went to investigate. The number of victims currently unknown. The officer transported to a local hospital for treatment. A 3-year-old hospitalized after falling from the 6th floor of a New York City apartment. Police say the child went out a window Sunday morning. She was critically hurt and rushed to an area hospital. The window where the child fell from did not appear to have a window guard. One witness walking by and saw something fall into the grass. He did not know it was a little girl until he ran over to help.
There's a lady right next to the child, and they had informed me that she was the aunt. I let her know it wasn't her fault. You know, I gave her a hug. I tried to calm her down.
I dropped. I was just started crying, that's all.
It's unclear who was watching the child at the time. A woman identified as the girl's mother was seen arriving to the building and entering a police car before heading to the hospital. Investigators pleading for anyone with information about a mass shooter in rural Alabama to come forward. The incident happening over the weekend, leaving 3 teens and a 23-year-old at a Sweet 16 birthday party dead.
He was respected by his peers. He was loved by his teachers. Phil was just what you call an all-around great guy.
Once again in America, young lives, including Philstavius Dowdell's, taken in a mass shooting. This Dadeville dance studio was packed with kids celebrating a Sweet 16 party Saturday night, and then the shooting started.
4 lives were lost in the tragic event that occurred here. There are 28 individuals that were injured.
Police are asking for information about the attack. The DJ at the party told CNN that he did not see a fight or commotion before the gunfire began.
I just had to try to make sure everybody around me was safe, so I put a couple people under the table in front of me. The shots was letting off behind me.
One of the victims, Philstavius Dowdell, was the birthday girl's brother, a talented senior with a football scholarship described as the hometown hero.
Phil just told me about a month ago. He said, Coach, if anything ever happened to me, even when I go to college, take care of my 2 sisters. I never dreamed that he was talking about this.
Another victim, 17-year-old Kiki Smith, set to attend the University of Alabama. She ran on the track team but was recently injured, so she took a role as a trainer.
She just had pulled ACL and couldn't run track, so she just came to help out.
The county coroner says the 2 other deceased were young men. Marciah Collins, a 19-year-old aspiring musician who took a gap year headed to Louisiana State in the fall, and Corbin Holston, a 23-year-old from Dadeville.
Lord, we pray that you would be with their parents, that they would be able to comfort them.
The small town of around 3,000 people held an emotional vigil.
These children had very bright futures, the ones that I knew from Dadeville. Very, very athletic, very humble children, very respectful children, smart.
I think it's catching the community off guard. I think they're in utter shock, and I don't think they have the words right now to even process what's going on right now.
Investigators there say they have strong leads but have not yet made an arrest. There are more than 160 mass shootings in the U.S. this year, with 9 over last weekend. Top opposition figure Vladimir Kara-Murza Jr. convicted of treason for publicly denouncing Moscow's war in Ukraine. He was sentenced to 25 years in prison. Kara-Murza has rejected the charges against him as punishment for standing up to Russian President Vladimir Putin. Human rights organizations and Western governments denouncing the verdict, and Amnesty International declaring the 41-year-old a prisoner of conscience. Parts of South Florida getting hit with another round of wild weather today. A waterspout spotted in the distance off the Florida Keys. Cell phone video capturing the waterspout, and in Miramar, storms brought heavy rain and large hail. Thunderstorm warnings and flood advisories in effect for the area. Up to 3 inches of rain could fall in South Florida before the front pushes out this evening.
Wild weather for sure. Now here in South Texas, we're turning from that beautiful dry weather we had yesterday and today back to the old heat and humidity, and the winds too. We'll have your forecast coming up in a moment.
Catch a legendary moment on Sherry.
I'm still looking for a sugar daddy.
Tuesday, T.I. and Joseph Sikora.
A cancer patient can need up to 8 units of platelets a week. So make sure we have enough supply, because when you give,
I live.
Donate blood and help save a life. Go to yougivetheylive.org to schedule your donation today.
Hi folks, Cool Dave letting you know pork chops are back. Look at this beautiful plate. A crispy boneless breaded pork chop, 2 sides, our signature country gravy, and 2 of our famous dinner rolls. You can choose any 2 sides you like. This is a meal just like your grandma would cook, but shh, it might be, just maybe, be better than grandma's. Pick up a plate for yourself today at Grandy's on the Barrow near Mockingbird in Victoria. But don't tell grandma.
Join happy Optimum customers who love their fast Optimum 300 meg internet for as low as $30 a month. Paul says it's reliable internet, great speed, reasonable pricing. Thanks, Paul. We think you're great too. Plus, Optimum has faster download speeds than AT&T nationwide. Get Optimum 300 meg internet for $30 a month with Optimum Mobile for as low as $15 a month. For your special offer, call 866-9-OPTIMUM. Go to Optimum.com or visit a store today. Get closer, go farther with Optimum.
My name is Adarius McCormick, and I want you to know about my new segment, Homemade with Adarius. I will interview amazing people and showcase intriguing places that may be new to you in the Crossroads. Want to show off something homemade? Email us at homemade@victoriatelevision.com. See my new segment on Crossroads Today YouTube channel and Crossroads Today Plus. You do not want to miss this.
Well, good evening, everybody. 63 degrees, and that's about where it's going to stay for the rest of the evening. We're picking up that southeast wind, and that makes all the difference in the world. The north wind, obviously, it's cool and dry. A south wind comes off the Gulf of Mexico and is humid and is warmer. We're looking for warming temperatures over the next couple of days. While we see the Crossroads here, there's no significant rain in our area. However, out in West Texas, as you can see right about here, they have some showers. Now here's San Angelo, Brady, here's El Dorado, remember that? And Sonora, and of course I-10 right about here, and Kerrville right over here. Now this activity is drifting this way. So if you extend it out, it includes our area. So there's a good possibility that overnight and into tomorrow we may see a couple of little light showers. One of the big reasons is the south wind's going this way. The upper winds are going in the opposite direction, so there's going to be a little conflict there, and that's going to cause this lifting. So there is rain in the forecast, light showers, nothing significant. I wanted to show you this, in case you didn't see it at 6, I just want to remind everybody. Here's the United States, Miami, here's the Caribbean, Central Atlantic, west coast of Africa. Everything in North America, well, basically above the equator, is still moving in that direction, okay? If it's going in that direction, the trade winds cannot establish, and therefore there is no risk of any possibility of any tropical storm developing, probably in 2-3 weeks. So let's just say the following. The Atlantic is not ready for the hurricane party of 23, and that's good as far as we're concerned. We just need to know what's happening out there. Well, this high pressure brought us that beautiful wind over the weekend. Okay, it was beautiful and dry, but if you have sinus problems, you probably were affected by that cedar from central Texas. Well, now that's moving to the east, and so we're opening up the Gulf. That south wind is going to kick in tomorrow, probably up to 35 miles an hour in the afternoon. So by late afternoon, it'll be really howling. And if you're working with, plywood on a roof, just be cautious, because if you're roofing, you're going to be buffeted by the wind all day. So there's our south wind, all blowing into the plains where it's hot, dry, and dusty right about here. But then the front starts moving toward us. Now it will break out a few little showers out ahead of it, but by the time we get to, probably Thursday and Friday, we'll have lots of moisture here, and we'll have isolated showers. And then the big stuff would probably come in on Friday night into Saturday. I'm not saying, big like that 3-day storm we had, just the big thunderstorms. We had that rain on Saturday night. No, okay, I can't say that. Thunderstorms came through, thunder, lightning, and wind. I found no rain gauges with any rain in them, so that's kind of the problem. But the south wind is going to be strong tomorrow, so it's sustained winds, and mariners should know this, 15 to 30 miles an hour. This is the sustained wind. Then the gusts on top of it will make it rather blustery out there for the next couple of days. So let's take a look at the extended. Tomorrow, about 80 degrees. You'll see more clouds than you saw today, that's for sure, and even more clouds on Wednesday and Thursday, and we move all the way up to the mid-80s. Then that front comes through, and if this holds together, we're going to have a pretty good looking weekend coming in with temperatures on the cool side, down to 73. That sounds pretty good for late in the springtime. That is your 7-day forecast, folks. Well, I want to remind you that we have a QR code. I want you to scan it and put Crossroads Today right on your phone, and that will help you take the news, weather, and sports wherever you want to go. You can even take Zach Brown and his Brown Jug Band. No, wrong.
Thank you, Mac. The Texas Rangers are hot, but are there City Connect jerseys? I'll have that coming up in sports.
When it comes from McAdams, it shows you care. The freshest flowers, the prettiest plants, balloons and gift baskets too. If beautifully unique is what you seek, making lasting impressions is what we do. Always the very best value for you. When it comes from McAdams, it shows you care.
Have you been told you have to live with your wound? There is hope at PAM Outpatient Wound Care. At PAM Outpatient Wound Care Clinic, you'll find the latest technology and the most committed and caring professionals dedicated to your wound healing. Our experienced wound healing experts and multidisciplinary team specialize in preventing amputation and preserving limbs.
I began hyperbarics here. I'm walking and have the leg, which is the best part.
Come see us at PAM Outpatient Wound Care, where healing starts here.
Texas? Now's the time to gear up and save on a new Ford SUV. Get great deals on our most capable lineup. Now with a great in-stock selection to choose from, like the spacious and tech-savvy Ford Expedition or Ford Explorer and Bronco Sport. Ford SUVs, #1 in brand loyalty. Drive Escape now with 0% financing plus $1,000 cash, plus up to $500 accessories cash, plus complimentary maintenance.
Ford is the best in Texas.
Good evening, Crossroads. The 127th Boston Marathon took place today, which also marks 10 years after the Boston bombing. The race welcomed around 30,000 people who took part in the 26.2-mile race. In the end, Evan Chebet repeats as champion with an unofficial time of 2 hours, 21 minutes, and 38 seconds. One storyline in this race was Eliud Kipchoge, who finished 6th. He's a gold medalist who was projected to win. Speaking of running, how about these running quarterbacks? Lots of talk about Lamar Jackson, who reportedly got an offer worth $200 million guaranteed. And earlier today, the Eagles inked Jalen Hurts to a 5-year, $255 million contract with $179 million guaranteed, making him the highest paid player in NFL history. He's getting about $51 million per year. Dak Prescott tied for 7th at $40 million per year. Last night, the Lakers, Heat, Clippers, and Nuggets each got Game 1 victories. Now on to Game 2 for others. The first game of the evening, the Nets and Sixers in Philly. The Nets trying to avoid falling down 2-0 without Ben Simmons, but only muster 35 second-half points. Joel Embiid had 20 points. James Harden only had 8, but the Sixers did win. After winning their first postseason game since 2006, the Kings look to go up 2-0 in quest for their first postseason win or series win since 2004, which was over the Dallas Mavericks. They currently lead 58-52 at the half. The first place Texas Rangers revealed their City Connect jerseys today. Here they are from the Rangers Twitter page. They describe the jersey as a celebration of the rich heritage of baseball in the area, but they were met with mixed reviews, which leads us to your viewer poll. Are the Texas Rangers City Connect jerseys hot or not? Looking at what a lot of you have said, only 22% of you like the jersey, 78% of you don't. I think they're hot, but if you didn't think the jerseys were hot, you can't deny the team itself is, as they win again, shutting out the Royals 4-0 behind the power of a 3-run shot and a solo homer as well. That game was just 2 hours and 2 minutes. And the Astros trying to get over the beatdown the Rangers put on them last night. They would erupt for 7 in the first, capped off by Jake Myers, Oppo Taco. Later on, it's the University of Houston product, Corey Julks. He went deep to the pump. They would win that one 9-2. In that video you just saw, well, it's been garnering a lot of attention. After celebrating a huge strikeout, the ump feels like the celebration was a bit much and tosses the pitcher out of the game. So what do? Well, in the next inning, they hit a grand slam, and to absolutely troll the umpire, they celebrate with a robotic walk and a straight face while everyone else around him goes crazy. Way to stick it to that umpire. And today in golf, Emma Koch from Victoria East shot in 81. She's tied for 18th, and Harper Edwards of Victoria West shot a 72. If she maintains, she should qualify for state. Don, back to you.
All right, Zach, thank you. And stay with us. Coming up on 25 News now at 10. We'll take a last look at your weather. Plus, a pizza delivery guy in Pennsylvania stops a car thief from getting away.
Victory GMC is the favorite in the Crossroads because our staff has years of experience and they know how to make their customers smile.
Walter Dixon, 32 years.
Lena Briggs, 38 years.
Jose Garza, 24 years. Jake Hargis, 23 years.
Houston Polyvert, 3 years.
Come let the right people give you a world-class buying experience. We think you'll call it victory.
Hello, my name is Maclovio Perez. My friends call me Mac. I'm the new chief meteorologist at 25 News Now. In the weather world, our job is to save lives and property. Service is very important, and the people need to know you, they need to like you, and they need to trust you. And if they don't do any one of those, then you're not going to be on TV for very long. There's my forecast for the summer. Very hot and a very active storm season. Write that down. Let me know how I did at the end of the season.
When you don't keep your eyes on what you're doing, it can be downright dangerous to you and others, especially when you're behind the wheel. Put your phone down. Heads up, Texas.
Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman returned to work today after being hospitalized for treatment of clinical depression. The Democrat senator spent 6 weeks at a military medical center after checking himself in back in February. The 53-year-old discharged on March 31st. Fetterman's doctors now say his depression is, quote, in remission, unquote. Fetterman expected to chair his first subcommittee hearing Wednesday on nutrition assistance and the Senate Farm Bill. The final curtain coming down Sunday on New York's production of The Phantom of the Opera.
No.
Yes.
No.
Ending Broadway's longest running show.
No.
It ended with a reprise of the Music of the Night performed by the current cast. Previous actors in the show, including original star Sarah Brightman, and crew members. Andrew Lloyd Webber took to the stage and dedicated the final show to his son, who died last month after a long battle with gastric cancer and pneumonia. All right, hands raised. How many of y'all have seen a professional production of The Phantom of the Opera?
Yeah, I saw it with Michael Crawford. I win.
Well, I saw it with my wife. It was at Jones Hall in Houston.
Michael was not a very good date.
Well, I didn't want to ask any personal questions. No, but a fantastic show.
One of the greatest. And it's everything a musical should be.
Yes.
Sound, staging, light, music, love, all that great stuff.
Andrew Lloyd Webber. He's tough to beat.
I've never seen it. I don't even know what it's about.
I got to take it. Well, you know, it came out in like '83,
yeah,
right?
It's in the opera.
I'm going to take it.
About a
I was born in '96. I mean, it's not that old.
No, it's all right. It's all right.
I got shoes from 1996.
Oh, my.
All right, a little bit of weather, folks. We are looking at warming temperatures, lots of wind for the next couple of days as the south wind kicks in, but not to fear by Friday night. Possible cold front with maybe a few showers to actually cool us down for the coming weekend.
All right, thank you, Mac. And finally tonight, a pizza delivery guy helped stop a reported car thief. Authorities in Pennsylvania sharing this video from the incident. Brookhaven police say they were trying to pull over the driver of a stolen car, but the 17-year-old driver kept going until he hit a pole in a neighborhood. He got out of the car and tried to get away, but he did not make it very far, all thanks to a 29-year-old pizza delivery man. He tripped the suspect as he ran past him. The suspect hit the ground and police took him into custody.
it was actually shocking to see that it was, that he just happened to be delivering a pizza there, and I understand the pizza ended up being delivered without any further incidents there with that. But, in all seriousness, we do ask people to not intervene, that we want to let the police handle it. But in this case, it did work out.
For the Caco's pizza delivery guy, it was just the right thing to do.
Yes.
And if more pizza delivery guys help out in stopping crime,
that's right.
I would call it the domino theory.
What's the domino theory?
Because Domino's delivering the pizza.
And other reasons.
And you trip the guys running away.
I don't get it.
We'll explain it later.
It would have been clipping, but in this case, it's okay.
I understand that one. Now that one I get. There you go.
And he didn't drop
guys.
the pizza.
That's right.
It's amazing.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for joining us. We're streaming 24/7 Crossroads Today Plus. Join Carolina and Trey, 25 News Sunrise, 5 a.m. Good night.